All right, great.
You'll find out why in a few minutes.
I got your voicemail, Terry.
I'm muted. Thank you. Okay, we can,
Stopping by there
All
tomorrow.
right, we can start. We'll open the meeting. I guess we'll have a report from Matt on the invoices.
Okay, well, we have a few things here on our agenda as far as I know. We'll start with the invoices. First of all, good evening to everybody. The first invoice we have here is an invoice from Fontaine Brothers for Griffin Electric, who was doing the taking care of the fire department or fire marshal violations up in the boiler room.
Yep.
Most of that is done. They're just waiting for a couple of parts. They should be in by the beginning of next week. I just got off the phone with Joel, so. But anyway, their invoice is number 20107-01, dated 9/22. They're looking $4,888, which is the full amount of the invoice.
Yeah.
Approving that. And we have, next one down, we have a Colliers invoice 006373, dated 5/31/2020, in the amount of $13,696. This is from back, like in May or something. It just somehow fell between the cracks. And then, as I understand, O'Brien and Sons is the reimbursement for the gratings you guys purchased for out in the courtyard area there. Invoice number, I guess it's I010. I'm sorry, I200933-IN792020 for $1,195.
Okay.
That's it for the invoices. The rest will be just some discussion stuff. So
Yep.
if you want to maybe vote on those or something first.
And all those, the drain gates are all put in?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Rick.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to pass the this month's invoices.
Second.
Who moved? Sorry. Who made the motion?
Second.
Oh, okay. Who made the motion?
I'll make the motion to
Okay,
accept the
Okay.
invoices.
all right, Chris does it backwards, but
No, I was on mute. I actually said it, but I was on mute. I apologize. So,
I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, any discussion on the bills? If not, all those in favor say aye.
I have a question on the
Oh, oh.
electric.
All right, sure, go ahead.
Was this an oversight? Was this an omission? Was this a code compliance problem?
It was it was the building. Well, there's a couple pieces to this. There is the relocation of the emergency shut-off switch, and second part of the electric is the they had to add sensors, additional firematic sensors at the two boilers. It's a code issue, but the code changed while we were somewhere early in, either after it went into effect. We had this discussion previously. The bottom line was the architect designed to the current code at the time, but it has since changed, and the fire marshal wants to bring it up to current code.
Yeah, I understand it was the state inspector and it's the boiler code that was the issue,
Yes.
but okay. Yeah, I would anticipate the electricians would have been on top of that. I know when I replaced my own home boiler, they pointed it out to me, but we had to do the same thing with the switch.
They install what's on the documents.
No, understood.
If somebody doesn't notice to mention it to somebody, then, that's unfortunate, but it would have been an extra either way.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. What else do we have?
Okay, just kind of an update on some of the other stuff you've been doing. I think we spoke the last time, the caulking of the curbing around the building is complete. Now we know the yard drains have been put in, that Rick has done. One of the items is the balancing of the HVAC system. That was the second bill from the last meeting. That right now is on hold. It was partially done, maybe, 70, 80% done. They ran into a problem because the filters in the units needed to be changed out, and they were, I guess, not allowing the proper, passage of air. And once that is taken care of, they will come back and finish. And after that, we will finish the commissioning portion of it. So I guess we have to ask Rick. Some came in, some were on back order.
We had about 80% of the filters arrived. The remaining filters, when we got the first batch in about 2 weeks ago, they said the remaining filters were about 30 days out. So they were custom built filters from AirX. We just have to wait for them. They said everything in that MERV rating is back ordered.
Oh, that makes sense because of all the COVID air
Yeah.
purification and changing over buildings and schools to better filtration. So that's kind of understandable, but okay. So just as soon as you get them in, Rick,
Yeah,
give me
No,
a
we'll-
shout so I can, get Fontaine rolling on it. So that item is up in the air at the moment. We've discussed already the fire marshal violations, so what about that application now for the boiler? Let me, before you answer that. While I was speaking with the fire marshal or the boiler inspector, he said to me, well, what about the hot water heaters? And not having been in the middle of it, I wasn't sure what was going on, but it turns out Rick's office or Anne Marie, they submitted an application to have the boilers inspected and a paid a fee, but it's a separate application and fee to have the hot water tanks inspected. So that's something that still has to be done. It's the same inspector. That's where I found out about it because he asked me about it and I had to chase it back. So do you know any?
we've submitted the paperwork. I'm just waiting for him to make an appointment, I guess, to come out and check the boilers.
Okay, is that something you can copy me on?
Yep.
So that I can use that and give him a call and maybe, because we seem to get along very well. So maybe I can,
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he seemed like a nice guy. Maybe I can grease the wheel a little bit and
Yep.
speed it up. Okay. As you know, there were a few punch list items, one of them being the delaminating panels, the wood panels that are going up the main staircase and on the inside at the media center. And just got off the phone at the same call with Joel. They've not only has Procraft, the company that installed it, been out there, they brought in a guy, something like the wood doctor or somebody like that. The problem is, first of all, this happened probably because of the temperature changes in the building. Generally, humidity is an issue with furniture, and we even check it before bringing in the millwork. It has to be at a certain humidity in the building. The only way to fix those would be to replace them. Or the fix would not be, you could probably slice it and glue it, but it'd never look like it wasn't there. A repair, besides that, it would be expensive. They have to cut the panels out. So you're going to always see some kind of a cut line around the perimeter of the panel. Knowing how things that get like polyurethane or varnish, whatever they use as the finish, they yellow a little bit over time. So these things are like a year and a half old, maybe. I don't know that the new panels may look newer and cleaner looking, and it may stand out even worse because quite frankly, that's why I want to go over there tomorrow. When I went there the last time, I had trouble finding it. So while yes, you may have, and apparently there might be 15 to 20 panels in the media from what Joel is telling me, and 2 or 3 out in the main staircase on the 3rd floor. If they're really difficult to find, maybe it's something you just, because it's not a warranty issue because of the temperature, the units were turned off or put on unoccupied during that whole closed down area. And apparently that's when, the humidity and so forth happened. So it could be every bit of a $10,000 bill if you were going to replace all the ones, approximately 20 or so. It's a rough number. And you're still gonna possibly see those panels being different because the shade goes to the aging process, as well as possibly when you have to cut out between the joints. If you imagine their own joints were only, I don't know, quarter inch or something. I forget. It's been a while since I've been there. You know, it may always look like replacement pieces were put in there. So maybe before you make a decision on this, if you want to meet over there at some point and look at them and just kind of talk them over, you might say, gee, yeah, you know, you have to really go out of your way to find them. And unfortunately, it's like that. But do you want to spend that kind of money and still possibly have something that's obviously something different because it, you know, the color differences?
Matt, I guess I would say that if we know for sure that it's not going to get any worse, then I would say we don't touch them, because I noticed them because I was spending a lot of time in the library making copies, and the sun hit them just right, and somebody else also pointed them out, but you really do have to look for them to find them.
Yeah. The only thing I could say too, if it's not going to get worse, is not knowing how long it's going to take to get this system back up and running properly, between get the filters in, get the guy back to balance it, and then get the commissioning, which does the final, well, the balancing will get the final adjustment. So assuming we're now going into a dry season, right? More so than a humid, hot summer. So probably not many, if any. You know, the temperature, as long as we have the humidity in control, which it seems to be naturally now under control in the building, it shouldn't get any worse, or new ones appearing. So I don't know how you want to handle this. That's why I was going to stop by to take a look, but I'm only going to see what's there, what everybody else has seen.
Yeah, I will definitely go over with you, or if we can connect. But I think that if, quite frankly, if it's not a warranty issue, or it can't be a warranty issue, and that it just doesn't stand out, I don't see the need. And to Emily's point, as long as it doesn't, someone's got to at least tell us that it's not going to get worse. In other words, fall off, or
Oh, no.
or some. No,
It's just like a little, almost like a bubble, but it's at the edge, like the top of the panel. So it just kind of like bows out a little bit and back in. It's like a bump.
The
I guess you
veneers
could call it.
don't seem to be pulling away, which is what I would be most concerned about. But even there's one spot I know that it would take a lot of force to pull it off, even though it's detached a little bit from the wood paneling. But again, I walk by them every day, and if you didn't tell me they were there, I wouldn't even notice.
And the veneer is what's pulling away, not the panel itself. So
Correct.
it's not like the panel is going to fall off and hit some child in the head or anything.
It's not structural by any means.
It's
no.
purely a visual thing when you see it, and if you look for it, when the light's right, it's like touch-ups on a wall. Sometimes you don't see it until you look at it the right way. But so, yeah, I mean, I'm willing to
go take a look at it.
meet you.
Just report back at the next meeting, I think would probably be best.
All right. So, well, between now and then, Chris, maybe in the next
Sure.
week sometime, we can
Yep.
think.
If you let me know, I'll make sure that I'm available, and I'll go over there with you, Matt, anytime.
I mean, I could stop over there tomorrow morning if you want to on the way in.
Yep. Sure. You give me the time, and I'll meet you over. I'll meet you over there. Absolutely.
I don't know how early you get in. Do you want to get in?
7:30, 7:15, 7:30 is when I'm there. So
So
anytime.
how about I meet you at 7:15 at the school?
Yeah, give me a few minutes after that, because I have to drop
All right.
off some number
7:30.
3. So give me till
7:30.
7:30. But yeah, that'd be great.
All right, good.
All right. We'll do that and take a look at it. And quite frankly, the panels that are on the stair side, they're literally, you have to be up on the 3rd floor landing, right at the door, that's sort of the side door to the media center. It's like right there. So I went, walked the whole thing all the way up from the first. So where is this? Where is this? Where is? Finally, I got up. So at least the real field of the important field of your accent wall there. It's all good, except when you get to the very top, there's one or two panels. So anyway, you'll see it tomorrow, and then you can speak to whomever, and you guys can come to a consensus on what you want to do or not
All right.
do. Okay, the other thing we found out, the double doors from the cafeteria into the main lobby outside the general office there were supposed to have hold opens built into the closes like some of the other doors do. For whatever reason, Griffin never wired that up. Those parts are on order as well. When they were out there, they saw it and realized, how did we miss this, I guess, but they did miss it, and they will be doing that. That would be next week as well. We talked about the wood panels, the filters. Also, Rick, we will be able to get you guys some additional training on the BMS system when everything gets worked out and it works properly. We'll make arrangements to have more training on that. And that's it. That's all I had.
All righty. Tim, do you have anything?
Just to double down on that training, Rick, I think there were some videos that were done when they did some original training. So until there can be some additional training and they can answer some of your new questions, certainly you could go by and look at those trainings from previous, just to kind of remind you of what they were talking about back when they
Yeah,
did.
they did some videos like in the fire systems room and electrical room. I don't think they actually did a video on the building management system, or if they did, they didn't do it when I was there. And
Okay.
yeah, that's one I'd like a refresher on.
Yeah,
And they
it was a
also have-
complicated system.
In the spec, they also have the where you can go to their place, their factory or whatever, and have 2 days of training there. But I don't know if that's worth as much as sitting in front of your own equipment and working purely with your own equipment, because it gives you an opportunity to see how it actually reacts when someone else who really knows what they're doing is working it. Well, no, I don't mean that, I mean that in the sense that if it doesn't work for them, then we've uncovered a problem.
Right.
Possibly that, when you tried it and if you had a problem, you might say, gee, did I do something wrong? At least
Yeah.
this way we know it's being done right. And if there is a problem experienced, it's another equipment problem.
Yes.
So it's whatever. So,
Good.
The only other thing I had was just on closeout. So once we can get the balancing filters and those sorts of things done, we can get the commissioning agent back in to do their final post-construction report. That's required in order to close things out with the MSBA. The other major item that we need to do to close out with the MSBA is pay all the bills. So I think tonight's bills pretty much get us there. If you guys get any new bills or anything else comes in, please let us know so we can get those processed right away. And then we have to do some paperwork that gets sent out to us from the MSBA once they get that final commissioner report. There's some other things that we already have in the process, but we haven't submitted just because we can't really do that until that process starts. All of this not being done, well, until this is done and a final audit can be done. And then once you see the audit and approve it, that it looks good on what your final reimbursement will be, then the MSBA would schedule that for a board meeting. And the board only meets every 2 months. And that was
2 months.
pre-COVID. I don't know what they're doing now. They may be backed up, but they would need to then vote to close the project. And then when that's done, you get your final check from the MSBA, the final 5% of the grant. So we want to try and do this as quickly as we can. Obviously, there's just steps we have to go through, but we will work to expedite it as best we can. But if there's anything that comes up on the commissioning, let us know, or we'll let you know if we hear any other things. But on the financial side, paying any of the bills, If there's something else that comes in, a vendor that is saying they were never paid or something like that, let us know. Our records are pretty comprehensive, but a lot of the FF&E contractors send in a million invoices, and sometimes they're not very good at doing their own paperwork. So some we still have, we're showing a balance against the purchase order, but if they're not going to bill it, at this point, we're pretty much going to say it's done, it's closed, we can't. And then you'll know what you have left over for any other determination, what you do with that, whether it's to worry about your storage needs or across the street with the fire station, or however you're going to work that out. And that's really all I have.
All righty. Any questions for these guys? From the committee? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to
moved.
adjourn.
Can I just ask one question? Is
Of course.
we've had some issues getting the approved invoices to Holly for processing. So just before everyone leaves, I just want to see who's going to
I'm
take that
going to
responsibility.
drop them off this afternoon, put them in the drop box outside.
Okay, fantastic.
All I have is the sheet that I signed. Does she need other stuff too, or
The invoices that, the three
All right, the
invoices.
the ones that they sent us?
Yes, the Fontaine one, the
Yeah.
Colliers, and O'Brien and Sons. That's
All right,
it.
I have that here then.
Actually, I have a quick question if I may. Sorry, I know there's a motion on the floor. There was
That's all right.
another, that O'Brien and Sons about the grates. Did you talk about that? I just saw that there was two in the email from Sue Varney. There was the first one that you went over the 3 issues. And then there was a second one with O'Brien and Sons that the drains can't support the cars. Is that
We don't-
something?
No, well, it's not about the drains not supporting the cars. They're being replaced because the ones we have are not, during these heavy rains we had in the summer, did not have enough openings to really drain fast enough. So we got ones that had more space to drain. Just so happens that when you have all that additional space, it's not built structurally enough that it can, allow cars to drive over it. It's not meant to be driven over. That's why the others were so small with the holes, because there was a lot of structure below them. But this is out in the
Yeah.
courtyard where no one should be driving in.
I was gonna say, we don't drive vehicles out onto that courtyard anyways.
And if you do, you know enough not to drive directly over the grading, so
Okay, well, it just was a little confusing. Thank you for clearing that up.
you're welcome.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor, anything else? No?
No.
Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
see you tomorrow.
Bye.
All right.
7:30, Matt. I'll see you down there.
You got it.